We're going to move on to consideration item number 7, Mr. City Manager.
Thank you very much, Mayor and members of the City Council. Tonight's first consideration item is a presentation on the East Contra Costa County Dynamic Personal Microtransit Feasibility Study and preliminary support of a project concept. The cities of Antioch, Brentwood, Oakley, and Pittsburg, with the County of Contra Costa and Contra Costa Transportation Authority, and a consortium of private entities, including Glideways, have recently evaluated the potential development of an autonomous transportation route system in East County. Habib from Advanced Mobility Group and Zach from Glideways LLC are here with a presentation to provide to the City Council and the community an update. I'll hand it over now.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Kraft, Vice Mayor and Council Member, as well as the City Manager. Do you see my screen? Okay, here we go. My name is Habib Shamshkou. I'm the President of Advanced Mobility Group, and I would be happy to give you this presentation. Just for those of you that haven't seen how does this pod it look like, I am going to show you a few pictures of the unit, which is known as a personal micro transit. You can see another pictures in here that comes to the that goes almost anywhere that you desire. Very small and compact unit, and it requires only 7 feet of the right of way to operate. This is it shown in the combination with the bike. And other pictures that can be connected directly to any bus station or bus station, and address your first mile, last mile part of your trip. One more pictures that shows the zone that these things are going to be loaded and unloading the passengers. The unit is extremely clean, and it can be automatically sanitized and cleaned every night. The unit is extremely safe. It will provide you with the personalized travel, that it is your ride, your personal space, on demand and safe. It operates in very safe right-of-way in a closed corridor, means we never mixed people and the vehicles together, and operate on the existing pavement, and it can be also built overhead. Other safety and security features include multi-layer protection and security that include security barrier, sensors, SOS bottom in the unit, camera, instant emergency response, vehicles that stop and react in concert. It will include, as part of the safety and security, real-time monitoring inside and outside of the network, and equipped with the intrusion alarm system. So this unit basically complete your trip from the walk to the unit, from the unit to the BART station or bus station or commuter rail, for a complete journey back home. The picture that you see in here is taken at the just last week at the Momentum station, where we are providing you with the proof of concept. All of you are going to get the chance to go and see it for real by the end of this month or early summer at the Momentum Station in Concord, California. So now a few words about our feasibility study. We conduct this feasibility study in a very accelerated short time frame of the 4 months. It started in late November, early December with 3 workshops that all the city of the Pittsburg, Antioch, Brentwood, and Oakley, they all participated in these workshops, and we completed this draft in April, and you should have a copy of the full feasibility study that reviewed by staff as well as validated by the CCTA planning department, and it should be in your packet. Yeah. In the very first workshop, we had a consensus around the goals and objectives of the project. And we had 3 basic, simple goals for this project that we have established early on. The first goal was that we agreed on to provide transit accessibility by building a network of the dynamic personal microtransit system at no cost to the cities. The system provides transit accessibility to assure economic development and attract employers. This project is as much as it's about the economic development and attracting employers as it is a transportation project. We conducted a feasibility study in a design, build, finance, operate, and maintain environment to attract potential public funding as well as the private financing. In the second workshop, we have developed a routing plan based on the input that we have received from the staff from all 4 different cities, including Contra Costa County. This is the preliminary network that we all agreed on. I must say that this is at very conceptual level at this time and is subject to change as we move along in the preliminary design and then the next few phases of the project moving forward. So the transportation services within this microtransit, it just overlaid to the existing infrastructure of the Tri-Delta Transit route as well as the BART with the over 51 stations along the network. So the Glideways complement existing transit and other active transportation mode, and it will increase the productivity of the both fixed route transit as well as the BART. Having completed the routing plan, we needed to do a quick demand analysis and projected ridership to make sure that we have a real project that we could move forward. We conducted a comprehensive demand analysis based on the model developed by the Tri-Delta Transit. The end result was that 13 million potential annual demand of the rides per year for the entire network. We have applied several conservative factors, and we reduced that annual ridership to about 7 million per year. Just to put this whole thing in perspective, what it really means. Currently, Tri-Delta Transit carry 2.7 million passenger per year. This is the pre-COVID number. At this time, it is about the half of that. The E-BART annual ridership is 2.2 million. SR4 corridor carry 52 million trips, and this added 7 million trips per year. It is truly a game changer here in East Contra Costa County for moving the people from the single occupant car to the more transit use. As far as the emission reduction, each one of this unit is the amount of emission that produce is equivalent of the 6 times the BRT or buses and 15 times the single occupant car. Yeah. In this slide, I summarize the benefits of the system, which is support economic development and create jobs. It is highly sustainable. It can be achieved in a speedy deployment with public-private partnership in P3 environment. It is congestion relief with the deployment of the first microtransit network in the East Contra Costa County that produce reduction in VMT on SR4, and it will increase access for the underserved community with transit accessibility and first last mile connectivity. Now a few words about the financial plan. So early on the project, we have identified several sources for the public funding that I am not going to go through each one of these tonight. It is well described in the report, but I'm highlighting the most important one, which is the regional transportation plan. I must tell you that both Contra Costa Transportation Authority, CCTA, as well as the Tri-Delta Transit support this project, and it will be included into the Regional Transportation Plan, RTP, moving forward. The business case model that we are considering to conduct this project is going to be based on the public funding, private financing, in a design, build, finance, operate, and maintain environment. We already attracted a number of the private financing entity that are willing to participate in this project. So the final conclusion is that we have a real project and a transportation solution for East Contra Costa County for the next 50 years to accommodate transit accessibility, to provide the major congestion relief along the SR4 corridor, as well as to provide the economic sustainability and attract new employers in Pittsburg and the vicinity and the entire East Contra Costa County. With that, if you have any question, I would be happy to entertain.
Thank you for that very exciting presentation. Council members Scales Preston and I sit on the Tri-Delta board, and we were totally impressed with this and very excited to see this this opportunity come to East Contra Costa County. And I'm watching Vice Mayor White rocking, because this is something he's been dreaming of for a long time. So thank you. Are there any questions or comments on this presentation? Councilmember Scales Preston.
Yes, thank you. Through the Mayor, Habib, thank you for the presentation. As the Mayor mentioned, it is very exciting, and this is probably like my third time seeing the presentation. I get excited every time I see it, just to imagine on-demand technology to, pick you up, take you where you need to go, and is better for the environment, and just also to get people moving, right? Get our commuters moving from the first to the last mile, and not, having another option and choices is always, something that's beneficial, especially here out in East County. So just thank you for the presentation again. Looking forward to going out to the site soon here to be able to see it for myself, and hopefully get to sit in the pod and see how it works. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Brunellis.
Yes, thank you, through the Mayor. Definitely thank you for the presentation. I do have a question on the concept. So obviously understanding that there is significant capital costs associated with this type of approach or project. And then when you compare that and look and forecast at technology and autonomous vehicle technology moving forward, how does this fit in to, that future where, you one day will be able to hail just like a Lyft vehicle or an Uber, hail a autonomous vehicle to your house and go point to point. And this, as I understand it, is a fixed infrastructure where you won't have as much flexibility. So how do you plan to compete in the future where you have this type of emerging technology?
A very good question, Councilman. The difference is that this is going to be done in public-private partnership with the mostly private sector financing the network and building that, moving forward with some assistance from the public sector through the many different of the sources of the fund that we are chasing with the federal and state government moving forward. And the biggest advantage of this is that this is a fraction of the cost of the building a BRT, bus rapid transit, fixed route transit, as well as the small fraction of what we have already completed, the BART commuter rail moving forward. So the sustainability of this is huge. Cost saving is big on doing this. But the most important thing, let's say that if you do have the money that you want to build another BART or another form of the transportation infrastructure, it will take 10, 15, 20 years to build it. This will take less than 5 years to be completed and move forward. And the biggest advantage is that it will improve the productivity of the Tri-Delta Transit fixed route. This is not going to replace that. It's going to complement that. It will act like a first mile, last mile concept to take you to the bus station that the 93% of our citizens, they don't have the access to the bus station or BART station. They have to walk a lot in order to get there, or they have to take their car to go to the BART station to find out that the parking lot is already full.
Thank you for that answer. I do have another follow-up question. So if you are outcompeted, by these hail type services and autonomous vehicles moving forward or into the future, considering it is a somewhat public funded enterprise, we would be left with subsidizing this into the future. Mm-hmm. Is that not correct?
That is absolutely correct at the beginning until it becomes profitable operation. But think about it, the Tri-Delta Transit, among the 5 transit property in Contra Costa County, it is the most successful one. And the subsidy on that one is 75%. This one is expected to reduce the subsidy in half. So dependency on the subsidy is going to be reduced drastically by adding additional productivity to the Tri-Delta Transit fixed route buses. Yeah.
Maybe, Habib, can I add a little bit onto there in terms of the competition?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So really you're comparing closed and open road systems. Fundamentally, open road systems are capacity limited. You have intersections, you have crosswalks, you have people, and that's why we have traffic. We can't move enough people in that autonomous model that the autonomous cars are kind of pitching today. And that's kind of the problem. Our model is based around moving the most amount of people in the least amount of space with the least amount of energy, which equates to the highest degree of sustainability and lowest ticket price. Fundamentally, you need a closed system to do that. And so in the future, when all cars are autonomous, of course, our vehicles will also be able to come off of that system and go autonomously just directly to your house. But you'll never lose the value of that high capacity throughput in the closed system. You'll always need that. Otherwise, you're going to have traffic everywhere.
No, and that's very interesting, and that's one piece that's important. And thank you for adding that. The piece where you do have the flexibility in the future potentially, if your technology is there, is to have that flex in terms of going direct to the consumer's door, right, or the customer's door. So I think that's a key important part. Obviously, there's a lot of taxpayers and ratepayers in our jurisdiction that we have BART, and just to be frank, I think there's a lot of folks that are tired with the continuous subsidies that are asked for in terms of moving that forward with very mixed results. And so I think when we look at future transportation systems, we need to be cognizant of the fact that if it is a publicly funded system, that we definitely look to make sure that from a sustainable fiscal sustainability, that it is a really good venture for ratepayers. So thank you for fielding those questions. I'm excited to learn more, and thank you for also presenting tonight.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions or comments? Councilmember Killings?
Yes, thank you to the mayor. Thank you, Habib, as well as Zachary, for joining us tonight, making the presentation. Definitely was aware of the project, was able to see one of the presentations as well. So definitely excited. I think when you're talking about reducing traffic and congestion, you're talking the language of East County and residents. So I think there's excitement around that. Definitely share some of the comments and concerns that my colleagues shared in terms of really just the value that is given to the public in terms of public dollars used. Because when I look at this, and I guess these are more of the comments and looking at the system, I'm not really enticed if I don't take BART, right? So if I'm not taking BART, I'm not interested in hopping, in one of these vehicles to get to BART station. So I am interested in that. And even as you look at your 7 million annual ridership, is that extracting folks who are no longer going to either use, I know you said you supplement Tri-Delta, but as far as folks that are either going to migrate from one of those systems to utilize this one, as far as how, in terms of arriving at those numbers, just trying to understand, because once again, I think you did hit it on the head. I think there is some value definitely in the fact that Tri-Delta supports it, because I think that it is a model that ultimately they're going to have to adopt, because we're seeing that even with the on-demand model that they're currently piloting as well. So definitely as far as the closed circuit, I thank you, Zachary, for bringing that in. But I think that this really helps solve as far as this system. I think just the mode of how public transportation operates. I appreciate the value in terms of what it costs us to build, our BART systems and rail systems, and trying to reduce that in terms of what we can build with this future system. Really am more interested as well. I know that this is a pilot. This will take some time to get the funding, but I think that a lot of the issues that we particularly see, I think this is going to be good for East County at large, for those folks who maybe we're trying to get off the road that are coming through Pittsburg on Highway 4. But as far as enticing our residents to use a system like this, we're going to need to see something that goes north-south, right? Everything that we see right now goes along Highway 4 corridor. And so we're really, to get residents in that mode, as Councilman Bernales was sharing, something that comes more to their neighborhood, more to their door. So really excited to see in the future if that's what is to come, but am excited about this technology coming online and serving as a part of a solution to addressing our traffic issues and our congestion here in East County and here specifically in Pittsburgh. So thank you for that presentation.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And with Tri-Delta, one of the things that they're doing is expanding their Try My Ride and some of the other things, and they're looking at how do they get more riders that's more convenient, as you say, that people need to be able to get from doorstep to where they're going. And so they have the neighborhood where you can board and you can go to Walmart, you can go, it has loops and things like that. And so adding this, and that's why we were excited as board members to see this as part of that. Because again, we're looking at every solution that we can that keeps people off the roads, But again, we have to make sure that we're able to accommodate a lot of our residents, and some of them just need to get to the grocery store. They just need to get to Walmart. They just need to get to the clinic or those sort of things. And so everything that we can do, that helps. And so we thank you for this presentation. And thank you, Vice Mayor White.
Through the mayor, Habib, Zachary, welcome to the virtual city of Pittsburgh. And I want to thank you for considering East County to really not only test, but to bring new technology to life. I share the same sentiments as all of my colleagues, and the question that Councilmember Banalas asked of you is the same question I asked to the city manager around kind of how you plan to compete. And Zachary, your answer to that was spot on. I did have a question around timing though. If this system is planned as is and rolled out, how long from now until whenever we plan implementation or rollout do you see the company moving towards an autonomous, open, and closed system?
Well, this is expected to be built complete by 2025. The autonomous vehicle is expected to be fully operational at the level 4-5 that we are talking about in 2030. So that is a time in between of the nine years that we are talking about. If you want to build anything similar to this, whether it's a people mover or the BRT or anything else, you're talking about good 15 years.
Okay. So whatever entity takes on the responsibility for operating this system would be ultimately responsible for purchasing new vehicles?
That is all subject to the PDA as well as the design, build, finance, and operate. The good news is that Tri-Delta Transit is already agreed to be the operating unit for this and training new staff, adding new jobs, moving forward on this. And the rest of the stuff is all subject of our institutional arrangement in the design, build, finance, operate, and maintain with the private entities.
Okay.
I can follow on a little bit there. Just a little bit. The on-road autonomous level 5 stuff that we're all waiting for, 2030 is out there. We'll use this as soon as it's available. I mean, quite honestly, there's tons of people working. There's billions of dollars going into it, so it'll be done when it's done. It'll be baked when it's baked, and then we'll use it. We won't use it before because that's not a safe way to do things. And in terms of the vehicle replacement, those are all worked into the financials of how we look at any system. It's rolled into the operational overhead.
Awesome. And last question, where do you plan on building these vehicles?
Well, it has not been determined yet, but we are encouraging Glideways to build it in East County. We are encouraging them furthermore to build it in the city of Pittsburgh. So as me and you, we have discussed about this, I'll be pushing hard.
Awesome. That's what we like.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, are there any final questions? Okay. Thank you, Habib, for that very informative presentation. And thank you, Zachary, for being a part of it as well. Okay. We're going to move on to consideration item number 8, Mr. City Manager. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. We need to do the vote. So let me bring this back to council real quick. So what is the desire of the council?
Through the mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt the city council resolution and receive the East Contra Costa County Dynamic Personal Micro Transit Feasibility Study and preliminary support of the project concept.
Okay, it's been moved by the Vice Mayor White, and is there a second?
Yes, I would like to second.
Okay, second by Councilmember Scales Preston. Please cast your votes.
Madam Mayor, just a clarification.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to, for the public and as well as us through the city manager, that this is support. I know we heard talks about public funding and commitments. Just want to, for the public and for everybody to know that this is a letter of support of the feasibility study and of the overall system, but does not put the city on the hook for any financial liability at this point.
That is absolutely correct. Please cast your votes. Thank you for that clarification. Motion passes unanimously. And now we will move on to